All right, welcome to part 2 of Apple Fest. I'm sorry, Apple Harvest. Getting ready for Apple Fest. Okay, where we left off last time is we just kind of got our background in, drew in our baskets, our apples. We gave the apples a little quick shadow and color, and then this one is going to spend a lot of time just on the apples, painting the basket, getting that colors kind of put in. But a lot of this is just going to be getting everything shaped, getting it ready. Like I told you on the last one, the colors will change many times. A lot of you will paint along with this, and you'll take it step by step. Some of you'll just kind of click through little points here, points there, get to the end, see what it looks like, get ready for the next one. And then some will be looking for a specific technique. Something in the bucket maybe, something in the apples, the background. They'll get the help they need there, and then they can move on to either another section or finish their painting. So anyway, in the videos there's something for everybody. Some people may just want to put it on there and for noise, whatever it is. That's why we make these videos, for people to be able to get whatever they can out of it. But anyway, I'm just kind of getting some of my shadows in, kind of where I want things. I drew in that apple that I'm going to want down there. So I'm just going to kind of put that in. Again, I'm going to start small, and then if I need to get bigger, I can, or just leave it the same. But I never want to get too big starting, because it's really hard to make it smaller without just starting over. So anyway, we're just going to kind of watch some of this, and again, it'll be repetition. You probably won't want to watch every bit of it, but you can watch the parts that you need. Now what we're doing here is we're just going to put some different colors on and kind of testing, some different colors, kind of separating the apples. But anyway, I just kind of want you to watch along. If you find you need this, use it. If not, skip ahead. Okay, now I'm just adding a few other colors, finding my light side, had my dark side, adding a little more shadow in there. Really just trying to get a feel for where my light's going to hit, where it's going to hit on each apple. The problem with this is I don't have a reference picture or painting of apples that look like this. I mean, you saw me draw it. I just, out of my head, what I thought a basket, what it should look like, how it should lay. So I'm just kind of making it up as I go. Where do I think the light would be? This is where you take some of your artistic license and you start going, okay, how is this looking? How's it? Does it look natural? Does it not? And sometimes we tweak things just to make it look more pleasing to the eye. Where if we were looking at it in a photograph or in real life in nature, we might go, that doesn't look right, and our eye just goes somewhere else. But in a painting or a picture, where your eye is pretty much stuck inside that picture, we don't want it to just go off of the canvas or the picture and not come back. So sometimes we take a little artistic license to make it look a little bit exciting or different, just to kind of trick the eye to stay in there and looking at it longer. But anyway, like I said, I'm going through finding some shadow, finding some light, just kind of spending time seeing where everything's going to be. And like I've said a dozen times so far, this painting is going to, these apples are going to change 10 times until I finally get them like I like them. You know, I get some light in there and I think, oh, I like that. Might be a little bright, but I'll watch it till it dries, because it will dry a little darker. And then, well, I don't like it. Looks like a tomato color or something. So I keep tweaking it. In the end, it will get there. But I just want to show you the process all the way through, the good, bad, and the ugly of this painting. I could have edited it all out, so it just looks like I started. I painted it perfect the first time, no mistakes, no change in my mind, and had a nice little painting. But that's not realistic. And if you're at home trying to paint along, or you're trying to paint a picture and you go, well, mine's not looking like that. Why? Again, I tell my students, and I tell you the same thing. Our paintings start out in kindergarten. What I mean by that, it looks like a kindergartner painted it. And then all of a sudden, we start following this process. And we put in a different layer and a different layer. And it looks like, oh, hey, we're now in first grade, second grade. We work our way up. We're fifth and sixth grade. And we move up to junior high, or whatever they call it nowadays. And then we get into high school. And really the painting doesn't even start popping until somewhere around our junior, senior year. Then that's when we start putting in all the wow, the final touches on it, and really just start making it pop. And that's when we go, oh wow, that painting turned out really well. But it's a process, and we have to follow that process. And sometimes our process takes many detours, like these apples. I think I said earlier in the last video, what I ended up doing in the end is I went into the kitchen, looked into the crisper drawer, and hey, there was an apple in there. So I picked up that apple, looked at it, shined it, said, okay, that's what I'm going to use. And I took it back to my art studio, held it in my hand while I painted. And you won't see the apple in the, I think it's the fourth part of this, but you will see that my technique changed. My colors have changed. What I'm doing to the apple changed. And you might say, wow, but it's because I had a reference right there in front of me. A live apple, 3 dimensions. And that's how I really kind of turned the page on what my apples should look like. Right now I'm just putting layer after layer after layer and getting closer, but not quite what I liked. And I told you this video is going to just be mostly about these apples, and I believe we'll put I believe we'll get to the baskets before the end, because I believe that the part 3 is a lot of the basket. It's a lot of more of the apples. Again, the 4th is the apples and some of the baskets. So there's a lot to it, and I could have cut a lot of it out, but I've had a lot of people ask, why don't you just do the whole process, record the whole process? So in this, I really did. The only time in here that I really edited a lot was when I wasn't painting, when I was maybe mixing paint, when I was cleaning a brush, when I was changing brushes. Then you see this big lag or void where you just see the painting for 2, 3, 4 minutes. So I edited those out and I cut the parts where there was nothing going on. But really, that's all that got cut out of this. But now again, I'm just going through layer after layer, and it will take several layers because red is so transparent. So the more you want it to stand out, the crisper you want that red color to look, the more layers you'll put on. You can glaze over that and really make it shine. If you want a really shiny apple, and if we were doing a painting of just an apple setting on a table or something, yeah, we would probably do that. But this is outside. It's basket. It's fallen over. There's going to be grasses, and also we want to paint this in one of our art classes. So we've got to find that happy medium somewhere between a really realistic apple, realistic painting, to more on the impressionist side where we let the eye finish it. So we try to do somewhere in between. There's a lot of impressionism where your eye has to finish certain things, but there's also some realism where we'll get to where the apples, they look pretty real. I mean, they could use a lot more work, detail, time, but again, we have to find that happy medium. So we have to sacrifice some things to speed up the painting so that anyone can do it, and can do it in a couple, 3 hours. And that's our goal here. So anyway, we're just going to kind of watch the apples kind of forming, changing. Again, you can kind of pick what you want. If you feel like, well, I just want to get to wherever this apple, then you can skip ahead. But I'm just wanting everybody to see what my process was and how many times I changed it. Okay, as you can see, we've spending a lot of time on these. Just thought I'd let you listen to a little music and you can watch my process. Not a lot changed, just different highlights, forming the apple, changing its color, testing what color looks better, what doesn't. So, like I said, I could have edited so much of this out, but I didn't. I didn't do that on this one. I want everyone to see how many times I changed my mind, changed my process, changed my thinking, whatever it is. And that way, I think that's an important to do sometimes, because I want people, again, to know, like I said earlier, you're going to change your mind during your painting. Something's not going to look right. You're going to be like, what is it? I don't like it. And then you're going to change your mind. And then you're going to get frustrated because it's not working again. And you're going to go find a YouTube channel and you're going to look up how to paint grass or an apple or a cloud, whatever it might be. And these artists on there, they're going to whip right through it. They're going to show you, this is how I do it, and this is how you should do it. Paint along. And that artist may get it right off the bat. Color, everything. And that's what we strive for. And that's practice, 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 doing the same thing over and over, and just get good at it. So if you're really good at mountains or clouds or trees, there's a lot of practice in those. Artists, they don't just pick up a brush and paint a mountain the first time and it look like a mountain. I mean, it may look like a mountain, a facsimile of a mountain, but they have refined what they're doing, the little details, and that takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience. So again, on this one, I am not a apple painter, fruit painter. There's a little lull in it right now, which I didn't edit, because I'm probably over there looking at how, what color next. So now I've changed the color again, maybe. I think I went with my script liner brush. Gonna start putting some stems in. And the reason I'm putting those in is I'm kind of getting an idea. Will they change? Will I refine them a little bit? Yes. But I'm really trying to get, how are these apples laying? Because that's going to go a long way when I start putting more detail in it. But again, I have just worked these apples over and over again, so you can see that, like I was getting ready to say before I started working with the script liner brushes, I don't know that I've painted an apple that's maybe with something else, or it's in the background. So I haven't really just concentrated on something like this. I've done pumpkins and things like that, but I'm like, I want to do a basket of apples, and I'd like to really do one with, I want to put it, or name it, fresh out of the garden, and I want a bag or maybe a basket or a bucket, and it's on the ground and it's full of tomatoes. Maybe there's some cucumbers in there, maybe some peppers, some squash, some onion, maybe some wild onion, or not wild onion, but your onions, maybe some garlic. I don't know, whatever would come out of the garden. I'll have to go to my garden, kind of lay out some different vegetables and see how they look. But again, I'd like to get into more of doing some fruit and vegetable type paintings. I've done some grapes before, and I like that. But I wouldn't mind getting into some of these because I think some of these would be perfect for classes, and I think people would enjoy painting them. Now I'm finally, as you can see, I went back to my little flat brush, and I'm going to start working on that these baskets a little bit. Just mixing in a little yellow ochre, little burnt umber, maybe a touch of yellow. Just I'm going to start forming in these baskets in color. But again, by the end of this video, that won't be the finished product. Just getting color on now. And I'll go through some of that and kind of let you watch some of that process too. Okay, as you can see, I'm just getting color on. I am putting in a little bit of light and shadow, but again, kind of for my personal reference of where my light's going to come from. But for the main part, I'm just getting some colors on. A few little shadow lines, but again, as the baskets move forward, they'll take on more color, they'll take on more light, and again, we'll get more into that three-dimensional look where we have light on one side, kind of goes around, the light gets to more of a medium, and then down into a darker color. That's how we. So as you see here, I'm going to say, okay, maybe some of my light's going to hit up in here, make this side a little bit brighter. So I'm just touching it up. Here, there, you can see I'm putting on a little bit more medium color, a little bit more over here, and then we'll darken that later. Right up here, I want this a little bit lighter, but I'm going to kind of clean up that band there a little bit. And the band's kind of holding all the slats on the basket together. And you can see on the inside of the basket they kind of stop there and that band goes around. I'll fix that later where the slats go all the way up. The band's just on the outside, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. And again, you see those black lines in there that kind of indicate the separation in slats. Again, they'll stay pretty much there, but they'll change a little bit in shape and color, and just kind of for my own edification right now. And they're kind of darkening that band inside there, but I'll realize here's the painting goes on that I'm like, oops, that's not what I want. And I don't know if that's in this part or it may be in part 3. We're coming up to just about 3 minutes left in this video, so we're just going to kind of watch some of the technique and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. Right now I think I've got just a little black and burnt umber that I'm doing that band with. Just put it on there, it'll change color. I think I'd make it into a more brown. Right now, just like I said, I'm just darkening it up a little bit. Then I'll start adding more to it. But not necessarily just darkening. Gosh, tongue-tied. I'm not just darkening the band there, but I'm straightening it up a little bit, making it a little bit thicker, kind of refining the edge. Remember, I said I usually start out on all my stuff smaller than what I think that it should be, and then I'll get bigger with it. Kind of like these bands are going to get just a little bigger, not a lot, but a little bit. But I started out small because I knew that I'd need that room to expand it, and if I made it too big first, and I'm like, ooh, that's too big, it's a lot harder to make it smaller. Anyway, you can kind of see my apples there. You can see the stems, just kind of show how the apple's going to lay. Some of the apples you can see there's a couple of them there that are kind of a little weird shape, and I'll define those shapes later. A little bit of shadow in there to make that front basket pop a little more. Darken that down there where there'd be some shadow, and that'll bring out those grasses pretty soon too. Well, we're really getting to the end of this. We've only got about 20 seconds left, so I hope you enjoyed it. Paint it along. Get ready. In the next couple of days, we will have part 3 coming out.